Welcome to the Diamond Mine Podcast with Nate and Lainey, where we listen to all 92 Diamond albums certified by Billboard. Today's album is...
2 by Boyz II Men.
Yes, it is, so go ahead and give them the specs on that.
Alright, this album came out in 1994 with 13 songs and 57 minutes long, and it went 12 times platinum.
Yes, it did. So, before we get into the songs and all that, follow us on Twitter. TDM Pod, TDMPOD, that is our @ Instagram, The Diamond Mine Podcast, YouTube, The Diamond Mine. If you're a YouTube viewer, you get to see our face and all that. And now you don't have to look up Kenny G Breathless. You can look up The Diamond Mine Shania Twain, and you will find us. So, if you want to look there, just sort by channel or whatever, and you'll see our logo if you want to see the face cam. But if you're just a Spotify user and you just want to hear her voice, that's cool too. I get it. I understand. Wanting to like drive or trying to go to sleep and just having something in the background, I get it.
For some reason, I thought you meant trying to like sleep while you're driving. I did not know where that was going.
Yeah, just taking a nap in your little Tesla self-driving car.
Like, if you just want to look up Kenny G, go ahead.
Yeah, you go right on ahead, because we both know it all circles back to Kenny G. So, did I miss something? Did I miss shouting something out?
No.
I don't think I did.
Let's just get into it.
Okay, this first song is called Thank You. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. I don't think I've ever heard a Boyz II Men song before this. Mm-hmm. And I still don't really think I have. It sounds like pitch perfect kind of harmonies, and like pentatonics was the best vibe I got from it. Some of the songs were a little too long on this album, and this definitely was one of them. Some of them break like the 5.5 minute mark, and it's just like I am having enough of these beautiful voices harmonizing in my ears. But me and Lainey were entertaining ourselves with the Apple Visualizer, so
pretty much, yeah. So right off the bat, it's way better than other boy band sound.
Yes,
because it's. I mean, a cappella kind of gives me the show choir, I don't know, Glee Club kind of sound. And I couldn't tell if they were purely using their mouths in this one, or if they did have like a beat synthesizer.
Like a drum kit type thing.
Because it was just...
Sorry, my chapstick cap is on the loose.
Yeah.
God, you could not have made that more awkward. You had to give me 5 seconds of silence after I said that for it to completely set in that, like, what I just said was so stupid.
I just watched it with my eyes, and then your hand, like, trying to grab it on the table. Anyway, I'm done. I don't have a lot to say about this album in general, so...
Yeah, I feel you on that. The next song, though, is called All Around the World. Starts off with some French speaking, and she says something about liking Boyz II Men. She's from Paris, and like, I don't know. I took like 2 classes of French, and that's my very rough interpretation. I'm sure she said something like, I'm not even gonna try to make a funny out of it.
Don't even. Just stop.
I'm sure she just said something that I completely just went over my head.
Right.
But has like a Snoop Dogg type beat.
Yeah, I said Gin and Juice. That's what it reminds me of. And I'm pretty sure we've had another song that reminds me of Gin and Juice. Go listen to the other podcast and you'll find out which one.
Yeah, you'll probably know it better than we do.
Yep.
But you guys aren't the ones that also have to listen to every single album the whole way through and make notes, so it kind of gets lost and jumbled in our head. Yeah. But the best way I can describe Boyz II Men, if somebody was like, hey, what is Boyz II Men like? It's kind of like a hip-hop NSYNC type vibe, but almost all a cappella.
Don't tell Justin Timberlake that, because he will beatbox. Just letting you know.
But this band's, speaking of those a cappella moments, this band's harmonies are like otherworldly. Like, I really haven't heard anybody harmonize like this unless it's like Glee or Pitch Perfect or something like that.
It's a much better boy band. It's an elite boy band.
Yes. Their lyrics, on the other hand, though, aren't too crazy special. I mean, they're just talking about, like, being in love with chicks and, like, doing things with women.
Same topics.
Yeah, same topics, but they present it a lot better. Especially in this song, the lyrics aren't much. They're just kind of listing off cities the whole entire song.
Yeah, because it's all around the world.
Yeah.
But then they also just start naming cities in the United States at that point. Like it's like they run out of countries, but there's more countries and states and cities. So like whatever.
And I said this to Lainey. As soon as like they were singing this song on the stage and they sang the name of the city that they were touring at, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Minneapolis, yes sir."
Yeah, woo.
Yes, but that's pretty much all I have to say about all around the world. It's nothing
It happens
really special.
though because every artist, like, for example, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, they're like, "Atlanta, are you ready?" And everyone's like, "Yeah,
are you ready to rock?" It's like, sign my baby.
Nobody brings a baby to those kind of concerts. I'll tell you right now. Little kids, yeah, sure. I don't know why, but yeah, they do. Anyway, is that all you had for the song?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't even know if I have anything to really add. Yeah, okay. I said that this one was very catchy. I mean, it was better than the first one. I'm already going to let you know that. And I said that the beat was astronomical. I really hope you've seen that TikTok. Which, like, ladies and gentlemen, the volume on this
yes,
is astronomical.
I cannot even hear Miss Smith, who is trying to have a conversation with me right next to me.
I can't even hear my own thoughts.
Dude, when they would whip that one out, that would make me so mad.
Okay. Riding the basketball bus, that's all we heard. I can't even hear my own thoughts. Dang.
To give you a little insight, viewers, my school year has just ended. Just a couple days ago. This
week.
And I was I'm glad, because I was about done with school's shenanigans, if I would like to put it that way.
That's a great way to put it. We're PG.
Yes, most of the time.
Well, the topics might not be, but our language.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I have to use the dolphin noise, but whatever. Yeah.
I was really thinking about just dropping an F-bomb and putting the dolphin noise over it.
And it's just one long, 13-second long dolphin noise for no reason. Anyway, we think we're funny. But it's basically about women from all over or just dying to see them in concert. But then it also talks about how there's that one girl for every man. So I don't really know. That's all I had.
Speaking of
yeah.
The next song is called
but with a U.
They definitely, for this first verse, I kind of feel bad. They definitely let the dude in the group that couldn't sing
Was
that
he the
good,
tenor?
I have no clue. But they let him take over the lead singing for a verse. They were like, yeah, you can have this one, bro.
Everybody deserves a chance.
It did not sound good. I'm not even gonna lie.
I still Fish out here.
But the second guy, he brought it back. He reeled in that slack and hit those notes. But to be completely fair, at this point in the album, I realized I hadn't processed anything. I was just strictly chilling to this music and
we had the
feeling
visualizer.
the vibe.
But then we were also just making jokes this entire album, so we didn't really
Yeah, I was just feeling the vibe, Just the funky beats and the sweet harmonies were taking me away, and then I was like, oh, well, I guess I don't really know anything they've been saying, and so we switched from the visualizer to lyrics.
Yeah. This one, also catchy. Kind of like Nate touched on about how everyone had their little part in singing. It's like the popcorn reading you would do in school, where it's and she wept, Samantha, and then she would have to read the paragraph.
And there would always be some chick that or dude that just could not read, and they would be and then everybody in the room would be like, alligator, and they'd be like, alligator.
No, my favorite was when they'd be like, the alligator. They would smack their lips in between each syllable. I would sit next to those people, I hated it.
The ones that hurt me the worst were the ones where they're like, and then the teacher or whatever is like, alligator, and they're like, yeah, what he said was going and he was eating a snack, and that's the worst one. That's the one that makes me want to just shrivel up into a little ball and
or they're just and then say alligator and be like, I know what the word is. Like, then why didn't you say it?
Or another bad one is the ones that, like, do the exact opposite of that.
What he said?
And just completely mispronounce the word. They're like, the agulator. And then, like, they just keep rolling with it, and everybody's like...
The Agamemnon. Yeah.
And those are also the ones that have the tenacity to be like, what y'all laughing about? I'm reading.
What's so funny?
Yeah, I want to laugh. I want to laugh, too. So...
That's what the teachers would say.
Yes, they always... Oh, my gosh, I was so sick of teachers.
I'm done. I had just one thing to say about this song.
Okay, but the next song is called Vibin', and I was indeed vibing for a second until he came in and started whispering without whispering. That's the best way I can describe it. He was like, yeah. Like,
it was a very low voice.
Yes, it was very low and soft, but it wasn't to the point where he was whispering. It was like, ugh, it just made me uncomfy.
It was like the ASMR, like, hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Welcome to the Diamond podcast with Nate and Lainey. We're listening to all 92 albums certified by Billboard.
Can we start it like that for now? Just an awkward, uncomfortable volume.
This was just very, very okay music, though. Like, and that's how I am with a lot of this album. It's just okay. And, like, there's nothing really special except for the harmonies and, like, the beats are cool, but the lyrics weren't very... I feel like I say this almost
encapsulating.
Yes, I can never figure out what that word is. Agulator. But
what he said.
Yeah, what she said.
Dude, don't
Anyways.
knock the laptop off, please.
Oh yeah, the laptop's right there. That's my bad. But yeah, it's just nothing really special.
I had 4 notes. I said, "Wow, they really are vibing, huh?" Trumpet. This one's not as good. Talked through it.
The next song is called I Sit Away. They are rapping off the Mario 64 music.
Whistle and distortion is what I wrote for that.
Yeah, there's just like... this is song 5, and everything is already still sounding samey. And that's like my biggest gripe so far, is that everything is sounding samey. And something that I think... And, Nate Harrell, album extraordinaire.
We get an official label that's not official.
And it's like we put it on the end of the table for the YouTube viewers to see. It's like
the
a little
officially
thing.
unofficial certificate of...
Dude, if somebody
at
some point makes us an officially unofficial album extraordinaire
our
plaque, we will hang it in between us.
Our 3 listeners.
But, album extraordinaire here. When you get 5 songs in, you cannot have all 5 of those songs sound the exact same and be about the exact same subjects, essentially.
No, because then I started talking about the pickle jar.
Stop. We don't worry about the pickle jar.
Ice is back with...
But when you're 5 songs in and you're already, like, I'm already losing interest, that's not a good sign that you just aren't changing anything up. And so, if any of y'all are ever planning on making an album and wanting me personally to enjoy it, which I don't know why you'd be thinking about me personally, you need to have it switch up at some point within the first 5 songs, dude.
I'm going to make an album 10 songs long. It's going to have the same melody each song. Uh-huh. Just different instruments.
Yeah.
And it's going to be country.
What are you going to sing about?
Love.
Other than that gripe, though, if I was just listening to chill out and have a conversation while this was in the background, it'd be a good time. Like, it's okay to have as, like, background music, but... Man, when it's the same thing over and over and over and you're really trying to dissect it, there's not much to...
I mean, we lose interest. We don't want to...
Yes.
Because, I mean, the only thing I really said was... Okay, they had, like, this little chirp in the background, but it wouldn't happen on beat.
Yeah, it would be on, like, beat 2 of every measure.
Or it'd be random. Like, it would be gone, and then it would just, like... that really bothered me. But the voices, I mean, they were solid and strong like they have been the entire album. And this is where I kind of started to lose my mind.
You have been losing your mind ever since you got over here. Don't even with that. Don't even with that. Lainey has been wilding out today.
It got bad about the scoliosis, though.
Yeah, okay, we'll get on to that in this next song. But
Scoliosis isn't funny.
But how do you feel about anything else?
No.
Okay, this next song is called Jezebel, and it starts off with them getting on the train, and there's like a little thing in the background where he says, "Yeah, I was cooling on the B train," and that had me dying.
That was like the first lyric, I think.
Yes.
The first line.
But he just saw this fine girl on the subway, and he just was all about her. And I know some dudes had like their girlfriend, and her name was Jezebel, and they used to play this when they were in the car. Shout out to any Jezebels out there.
I'll read you the definition of Jezebel here in a second.
But really, like, this, I mean, they just found a hot chick.
And they were just losing their minds.
Well, actually, comment on the song first, and then I'll go in about the scoliosis.
Was that this song?
Yes, that was the song when we discovered that.
Oh, so it happened fast.
Yes.
Okay. So a Jezebel is a shameless or morally unrestrained woman. There's also something in the Bible about Jezebel. I didn't write it down, though. If you're really interested, you can look it up for yourself on the Google. More whistling at the beginning. I don't care. Smooth, and they're literally just talking about picking a girl up on the train.
Okay.
But I think her name is actually Jezebel in the song. I don't know if they were calling her like a...
Tramp?
like a Jezebel. But they had a little shoe bop in there, you know? And
okay, so on to the scoliosis. So the way this happened is I had the thought in my head, I was like, they're like a 90s barbershop quartet. And so I was like, are they actually a quartet? So I go on, Safari, and I look up on there, I'm like, Boyz II Men, and I click on the Wikipedia, and currently they have 3 members. But back in 2003, they had a 4th member named Michael McCary, I think.
He was with them for this album.
Yes. They had him up until 2003, where he left the band because his scoliosis was so severe that he had to leave the band.
It's not funny. I'm just laughing.
It's not funny. Scoliosis isn't funny. I'm sure it's like, I'm sure it's miserable.
Painful.
Yes, like I know some people that have scoliosis and they are not having a good time with it.
Right.
But just the fact that it was so bad that he had to leave a Diamond album band.
It wasn't that for me. It was the picture you showed me.
We were like, how bad is it? And so we were scrolling through pictures of like Boyz II Men together, and he was literally, his shoulders are a diagonal angle, and that is not a lie. Like if you're on YouTube, he was like this.
No. And then you were talking about like trying to measure out his eye line, and that's when I just couldn't contain myself.
Oh, I forgot I did that. Can you check that thing I told you to start at the beginning of the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
But, like, for real, it was very bad. So, Michael, I hope that's getting better for you. Maybe you're wearing a back brace or gotten surgery or something.
Is it wrong for me? Okay, I really hope he got that fixed, especially since he had to leave the band for it. But is it wrong for me to tell the hot tub joke? Okay,
Lainey's about to tell a joke.
I'll have to narrate it for the listeners.
To be fair, she's been like wilding, so
again, scoliosis is like seriously not like it's a real medical condition. Like it's not funny. After Nate started trying to measure out like the diagonal, because I mean he would stand kind of like this and try to like tilt his head to keep it upright. And Nate was measuring his eye line.
Gotta hold it together, lady.
I don't know if I can. This is really mean. I'm not a good person, but I've accepted that, and so has the Lord. Imagine they're sitting in a pool or a hot tub.
Lady, you cannot have a laughing fit where you're not talking and I'm not talking. We are on an audio podcast.
No, it's not just that. It's also the video is so awkward. But I was like, he's sitting there in the hot tub.
Bro, it is not that funny. Do I need to explain this?
No, I can do it. I need you to stop laughing. It's also the fact that I'm visual, so I can see it in my head. I can see it happening. So he's sitting in the hot tub, at his diagonal. I'm crying now. He looks across and he says, yo, you might need to take a break. Your toe's getting kind of shriveled. And then somebody, yeah, you might need to get out of the hot tub. You're looking a little shriveled right there. You might need to take a break. And then I said, it's because he's got one eye in the water and one eye out.
If you guys need that translated into English, he's so tilted that his head is half in the water and half out, and so he sees the guy's toe underwater and is like, yo, you might need to take a little break and get out of the tub. Your toe a little wrinkly. And then that guy's gonna be like, why you looking? He's like, I can't help it. I have my head underwater. She is literally sobbing over here over that.
No, I said, I can't help it. I got one eye in the water, one eye out.
That has to be the hardest that you've ever laughed on the podcast.
It 100% is. It's not even that funny. Like, I know going back and listening and watching this,
we're just gonna be like, oh my gosh.
I'm so stupid. But I'm sweating. Like, I'm dehydrated from that. Yeah. So, next song, I guess.
The next song is called Khalil. It's a little interlude. And the last time we had interludes, it was the Outkast album, and I got bad flashbacks. So
I did too. I was getting a little nervous because especially because it said it was 1 minute and 40 seconds. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh no. But to me, like straight off the bat, it sounded like, transitioning from Boyz II Men, it sounded like they were going through puberty, but they didn't have a father figure around to guide them through it.
Yeah.
Oh, my stomach still hurts from that.
You alright?
I'm tired. It's been a very long day.
How'd that horse get in here? And we're back. Sorry, we had to get that horse situation dealt with.
It's crazy.
But the next song is called Trying Times. And this beat was funky. Had me coming in. Sorry. I was having a great time. Hey now. He was just expressing his love for this chick and holding it out together, and I get it, bro. Like I get you. I get where you're coming from. The pianist was going. I'm sorry. It was going.
You're telling me that my joke isn't that funny, and you're laughing at me. You're ridiculous.
He was going so ham, or she was going so ham, but this song was just too long. This was another 5 minute, 30-second one. I was.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I can't keep it together.
You go ahead.
Great. This had more soft talk in it. We've already referenced. Honestly, I said lyric-wise, it was a pretty solid love song, actually, and it sounds like they're really just trying to serenade, That's all I had. Continue.
The next song is called I'll Make Love to You.
I've heard this one.
The low brass came in, and it turned into a... Oh, wow, great spelling.
Perfect.
But it came in with a ballad, which is kind of different than everything we've been listening to. Everything else has been pretty chill, but this one, he just gets into it about how he's about to dog this chick. But... like, that's really all I have to say. He just gets way more into it than any other song, and I probably didn't prefer, like, I prefer their more chill stuff over this, even though this is, like, the song on Apple Music that has a little star that, like, signifies that it's one of the more popular songs.
It is one. I've actually heard this one.
I've never heard this one, but I didn't like this one better than the songs previous to it.
This one's my favorite, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But they actually did briefly sing this in Pitch Perfect when it was, like, their... mashup or riff off or whatever. Yeah, oh my gosh. Another serenade kind of song, and the title is self-explanatory. I said I gotta go to work.
Oh yeah, he's like saying about how he's gonna like dog this chick and how they're gonna
Bro,
make
you're
love
crazy.
and how he's like really about to get in it, and she's just like, man, I got like work in the morning and I gotta get up. I can't be doing this with you right now.
No,
like,
because he says we're gonna go all night long, and I said I gotta go to work.
I got a life to do. Like I don't know about you with your Boyz II Men, but. But the next song is called Unbended Knee. This one was very lame. I did not like this one.
Was not
they were
good.
simping so hard over some somber piano.
No, okay, but we misinterpreted it at first.
Yeah.
Because
we thought he was on a bended knee getting married, but he was on a bended knee begging to keep
like,
the stuff together.
Yeah, like get her back kind of thing.
But the dude was begging in his deep man voice for forgiveness in my ears, and I cringed so incredibly hard.
Cringe with the capital C.
Was not about that, bro.
That was horrible.
But that was boringer than watching paint dry. So
Boringer. Yeah, I will say though that they do write their own songs, I think, for the most part. So I'll give them the credit for that because other boy bands
generally
normally
don't.
And also, they can really, because they have a vocal range and they are in the a cappella quartet, like Nate's mentioned, kind of group, they can really present the emotion. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can get you on that.
I appreciate some raw talent. But Nate covered everything else I wrote down. So
Yeah, that whispering, I've said that on multiple things, specifically other boy bands or like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. When they're whispering,
it's not just them. It's been like MC Hammer, Outkast.
Whispering is not like.
Who likes that?
Oh, I don't understand why you would want to listen to that while you're listening to an album.
Sorry for all the like ASMR freaks out there, but
I'm sorry, but y'all are weird. The next song is called 50 Candles, and the first thing I thought was like 50 birthday candles. They hit on a cougar low key.
See,
Sorry, I had to do that.
I thought of 50 Cent, and I said, what if they bring 50 Cent in? And then I thought, wow, this really sounds like Kenny G.
Always circles back to Kenny G.
Because it has chimes and bongos or whatever.
It started off all magical and stuff, but then the dude that comes in sounds like that TikTok sound where he's like, "Hey there, white chocolate," and that I didn't want it. I didn't want it anymore. But I was so bored because the last song, like the song before this, Unbended Knee, really just kind of killed it for me. Like it just killed my vibe. And whenever you're listening to a band that's pretty much good strictly off a vibe, like I just can't get down with it no more. So,
see, the only thing I have written down that I haven't already said is that it reminds me of when I was saying like chimes, bongos, that kind of thing, and the singing the voice. It reminds me of The Little Mermaid when Sebastian is going to sing Kiss the Girl, and he's like, percussion, strings, winds, words.
I haven't seen that for so long.
And that just like killed me inside. It's my favorite.
Oh, something that we didn't say when we were going on about the bit, like, yeah, I got work in the morning. It was like, I got to take my kid to school in the morning. So, like, I don't know. That's the one that I was like, yeah, like, I got a kid to feed and stuff.
We
so
gotta.
Yeah, we gotta kind of wrap this up. All night, I was thinking more like 30 minutes, like, you know, and then I can order you Uber.
We gotta wrap this up literally.
I hate you. The next song is called Water Runs Dry. And at this point, I was snoozing, but Lainey was bringing the life to it, and I don't even remember what she was really doing. I don't either. As you can see, Lainey has been wilding.
Hey, you can't. This is a good episode.
But he can't work it. He can't work it out with some chick, and I honestly felt bad for him. And he was saying, don't make the biggest mistake of our lives, and that mistake being breaking it off instead of trying to work it out. And, I mean, I guess that's a lesson we can all learn. Don't just quit on something. This isn't just relationships, but, like, don't just quit on something. Yeah. Try to work it out as best as you can, and then
But also, like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and that's with everything, too.
Uh-huh.
I believe that. I wrote 2 things down for this because we mainly just talked and you wrote everything down.
Yeah.
I said country ? Because of the very, like, the intro, I guess. It was full on, like, new wave country for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Morgan Wallen could come in at any second and start singing. That's kind of how it felt. And especially following the last few where they were just, like, dog water. I like this one a lot more.
Yeah, I think this one was alright. I could get down with it. I also like the lyrical content of this one a lot more than the other. Because I feel like they had a concrete message rather than just like, dang, baby, you so fine. So, but anyways, let's get on to the last song. Yesterday, and if that title sounds familiar, it is literally just a cover of the Beatles song Yesterday. And that's where they made the first mistake, is covering a Beatles song. You're not going to be able to do it better than the Beatles.
Well, okay, see, I wanted them to do it better than the Beatles. Than little Paul McCartney singing with his guitar. I wanted it to be better, and I was very disappointed.
And it's not like I immediately went in like, they can't, like, they're not going to be able to top the Beatles. Right. I gave it an open listen, and it's just, it's weird to me. Because there's no instruments whatsoever. It's completely a cappella. And it's slower paced, and it's only driven by their voices. It's okay. Like, if it was on its own, it would kind of stand alone. It's
it was a nice a cappella cover for the most part.
Yes, but I'll let you go in with your gripes about that.
When they're harmonizing, it really suits their voices. They can cover it well.
Yeah.
But they tried to make it more complicated and intricate than it really needed to be. Where they were trying to do all the layering, and it didn't work. Like
that when, like in the song, sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice, I guess, because I was laughing at the
that's how
pianist.
I am. See, mine was the scoliosis.
But they said, like when Paul's like, yesterday, they would have the bass of the group, which is actually the guy with scoliosis.
Shout out to you, Michael.
He would be like, yesterday. And I just really wasn't about like all the layering that was going on in that song. It just felt kind of weird.
And then, was it the last? No, it was the second to last, I guess.
Stanza?
Yes, because I don't know if technically it's the chorus or whatever, because it's a very repetitive song.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the second half of the second to last stanza. And the lyrics are supposed to be, why she had to go. And instead they said why and held it out for a long time. And then had a very uncomfortable, like, pause. And then just said had to go. And I hated that so much. Because it really just threw me off.
Well, because it's not what we're used to when we're hearing yesterday. Like, we're used to that. The flow of the song and it being, like, just a little simple, driven by the guitar and Paul's voice and the strings.
But because of how Paul did it, I felt more emotion through that.
Yes.
Obviously, he wrote it, the Lennon-McCartney kind of thing. And
I think this one was strictly Paul, but I'm not sure.
It was.
Because he heard this one in a dream. This is the song that he dreamt of. And then he, like, kept going around to the band members, and he was like, what's this song? And he was playing it on the guitar and singing it to them, and none of them knew it. And he was like, well, I guess it's my song now. And then he wrote it.
Yeah, and then they couldn't figure out how to put instruments into it, so it's an acoustic. Uh-huh. He also dreamt of Let It Be, too.
Yeah, because it was like his mom.
Mother came to him.
Like,
which
Mother
I think
Mary
is really funny, because
mom.
I'm pretty sure he's Catholic, and, like the Mother Mary, Jesus' Mother Mary. But then his mom's name is also Mary, so when he said Mother Mary comes to me or whatever, I was like, wow, that's interesting. Anyway, this isn't
you'll learn a lot later on in the podcast whenever we start covering Beatles albums. We both very much so enjoy the Beatles. Mm-hmm. So
that's all I have though. So I guess
okay, so we're on the 92 scale. Do you have it?
Honestly don't know.
I feel like its spot right now at 70 is very valid.
That's kind of what I was...
If anything, maybe move it up into the 60s. I don't think it's an 80s type album.
If you move it up into the 60s, like 65 or...
Yes, it's not higher. It's not like 61, 62, anywhere in there. It's definitely closer to 70.
So between 65 and 70.
It was a good feeling album, but it was just boring lyrical content. It had a couple hits, but there are certain things where I just couldn't... I wasn't fully in it. Right. So, do you have anything else to say?
Nope.
Just remember, Twitter, TDMPOD, TDMPod, Instagram, The Diamond Mine Podcast. You can see us on YouTube at The Diamond Mine if you want to see our faces whenever we do this, and any visual shenanigans that go on the camera, or any just little edits that I throw in when I'm editing this. But, yeah, I guess that's it. So, this has been The Diamond Mine Podcast with Nate and Lainey. We'll be back at you next time with Mariah Carey.